sometimes I get prompted to cover certain experiences because that's what they are, right? And sometimes I have to have a sense of humor about this when you're operating at zero. Okay. And the easiest way that I know how to explain that is it's like you're always starting over. What do you want to experience next? It's up to you. When you're running a love vibration that's always on, okay, that means that you're giving everything that is alive, living in nature with a spirit and a soul. Okay. So what that means is you're always zeroing everything out. So you're choosing what to zero out, right? And now you get into living cells, living cellular organisms, and then you get into what I call attachments. So if you have a parasite that wants to attach itself to you, it has a connection to you. Now it's aware of what you're aware of because you're aware of what it's aware of. And that means that you're aware of what it is because it's aware of what you are. So now it's connected to you. You're connected to it. IT, information technology processing. Okay, so now you can get into Morpheus when he was showing Neo the white screen. Now we're going to load programs. Loading the programs, which are the codings, which represent the codings that are in the chromosomes, which represent the information on what to build, right? Just like a tree starts out with a seed, just like a male carries seed, which is data, okay? Now it goes to the lab. Hey, girl, build this, will you? So you want to build the best version, right? Okay, well then provide the best data. Okay, now you can simulate what you're now going to experience in a simulator. Okay, which is a better version of the previous one because the mitochondria lab, by a gift from Sirius, is what's going to come out of the girl's lab if she's pulling the best data. Now, you'd think that the universe of creation would be intelligent enough to know what to build, which is a better version, which is called the evolution of a universal mind in order to do what? End all wars. Right? To live in what? A state of peace, a state of equilibrium, balance, zero. Okay? So I was prompted to do this when my clan mother, okay, talked about Ishmael Perez is now following her. Okay, and that's called an attachment. Now, the reason that this is sort of important, at least in my perspective, based on my experiences, is when I realized when I was a child at 4 years of age, I do not hold energy captive, which means I do not hold matter that is in form, shape, and color captive, which means everything that I have ever had as an attachment, which means in material form, is all gone. And that's called rotating or rotating the library. Getting rid of it. You're getting rid of it as fast as you can because I realized as a child I was getting rid of everything as fast as I can that is electrons. Why? To recirculate it as fast as I can in order to do what? Break the resistance. So when you're a polarity integrator and you're always at zero, you're wanting to cut through all the resistance. And why is that? To seek a spiritual pathway of the least electrical resistance to experience pure consciousness, which is pure light, which is pure love, which is a love vibration that is always on, gifting electrons. So when you have an attachment to something that is in a higher vibration, then it wants to follow you because you're the source of energy that it can now what? Feed on. Okay. So when all of the living cells are all in balance with each other between both polarities, they're at zero. Okay. So what's happening is, and I was aware of this, because if you were inside of my antenna, you're experiencing all the frequencies and the pressure changes that are taking place, and they vary as the magnetosphere varies. So I realize I'm anchored to the magnetosphere inside this planet. Okay, so what I'm realizing is that's why I don't hang on to nothing. I only use what energy in terms of electrons that I need in order to do what? Take care of this equipment. So it doesn't take a whole lot, which means it doesn't take a lot of electrons in the form of numbered money, as money is defined here through playing a numbers game, because numbers are energy, defined as electromagnetic energy, right? Breathing in the breath of aloha. So this is one of the reasons why when I reflect back on why certain things happen, why I've gone through so many different phones. Okay, I don't run off the same libraries that I used to run off of. Why? That's loading a program. So you realize, well, how many programs do you want to run on? Well, how many simulations do you want to experience? Simulcasts, casting spells, right? And now you get into all the different dream states and why it is that when I'm going through the field, I realize I'm experiencing thought form patterns that are not mine, right? And that varies depending on where you happen to be. And particularly, for example, when I'm in Los Angeles, I'm experiencing thought wave patterns that are being experienced in a planetary consciousness field. So now you're able to measure on a planetary scale what? Resistance. To what? Experience pure love, which is unconditional love because it's true love because you're experiencing the vibration. See? So that's why when I was a child, I thought, my God, do you realize how much has to be healed here? So we're not even talking somebody who's 6 foot tall or 40 foot tall or several hundred feet tall like a redwood tree, but everything that is a living cellular organism that has ever experienced trauma held in its cellular memory. Okay. That's the truth of it. That requires an enormous amount of healing. And I'll give you an example. About 30 or 40 minutes ago, I realized Gaia fell in spirit. Her spirit fell, okay, in battle. And as soon as I experienced that, I sneezed for about 30 or 40 seconds because it's the truth. Okay? So you have Adam and Eve, and you have Gaia. Gaia is Eve's daughter. Okay? So now what we're doing, because one is here and Eve is here, because I saw Eve a couple years ago. And there's a way that you can do that with your eyeball. Okay, so I saw her up there. So you have the event monitor. As above, so below. That's why I sort of knew in when was that? In the early 50s to telepathically communicate, because as above, so below can see the movie. Then in the future, that house was going to burn down. We got to move, mama. Okay, because you don't want your family to experience that. So she has to experience the image that we're already experiencing above, down below, in the movie. That's a whole nother discussion. Anyway, have a great day. I love you all.